We just watched Madam Web, and I'm not very pleased with it. This is going to be spoiler-free, so don't worry. I won't spoil anything for you. The only thing I'll spoil for you is you should definitely not see this movie. Because goodness, this might be one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. Definitely the worst superhero movie that I've ever seen. That feels weird to say. But it makes Spider-Man 3 look good.
It makes Catwoman look good.
Oh, it does make Catwoman look good. And Catwoman is really bad. I don't even know where to start with this. Where do we start? I feel like I just want to end it there and be like, that's the end. Thanks for coming. But I should say more than that. Why is it bad? Why is it so bad? It's a movie that makes me question, why did we have to do this movie? It's a movie that makes me question, why was this movie made? Who is this movie for? Why did it have to be Madam Web? Why couldn't it be literally anyone else? So we start off the film following, obviously, Dakota Johnson, who is Cassie Webb, who, like I theorized before this movie came out, isn't really Cassandra. It's more like their own version of that character, which is fine. The character doesn't have to be a one-for-one, but there's so little of what I feel like makes Cassandra Webb who she is that I just don't even know why they made this movie about her. And we basically follow her through, she has an experience, she gets some powers. Honestly, I think the premise, the idea for the movie in terms of how her powers work and that element of it is kind of cool. I actually did like that. I like the whole idea of, not the whole idea of what they did with like the life of Webb and Destiny, but there was some cool elements in there. Honestly, the first part of the movie kind of starts off promising. I thought, this is clearly a bad script, but there's some cool ideas that they have for this film that I could see it leading to somewhere that might be okay. That's how I felt when we started. I thought this could be all right. And then the Spider Girls came into it. And then it went from being this could be all right to quickly spiraling towards this might be the worst, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and definitely the worst superhero movie. I would say what goes wrong with it is the story is very, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. I know it's a superhero world, but it's not grounded at all. And I do think even with fantastical stories, you need some level of grounding. And the through line even of the plot and what's happening. There's a lot of elements that are, we gotta go here to do this thing, and then I gotta go over here while you're here. It doesn't feel like everything is coming together in a nice way. It's like a bunch of people doing stuff on their own, and then sometimes they have to come together because that's what the script demands. There's so much stuff too where when you have a character that can see into the future, you would think there's so many potential creative solutions you could have for problems in a story. So you could write, you know, there's this issue and they have to solve it. And the fact that she can see into the future could give us some really cool solutions. One of the things that you said at the beginning when we went in, we were talking about little victories that, like, we were kind of just preparing ourselves because we had heard it's not very good. I was already skeptical going in. I don't like to come to a film with prejudice, but I was feeling that way when I got there. And I wanted to be open-minded because I thought if it's good, I'd like to actually be able to see those elements of it. And you had said the one thing that I would love is like, or that would be a good like little victory, is if we had like some cool final destination like moments. Because when you have a character that can see into the future and, you know, you get a reset, you could have some cool like kind of crazy death bits. There was none of that. And I would say the few moments they had were wasted. One of them didn't make sense at all. I was like, why is this even happening? And then it reset, and I was like, oh, because it wasn't really happening. Okay. It was happening in your mind. All right. Good, because that made no sense. And then the other one was wasted because you're already seeing it coming, basically. Which ruins the entire point of her powers. You know, it's just, that's like one of the coolest things that you have going for you, and you can't even do that right. So the story isn't very good. The script is really bad. The powers are a cool idea, but they're not executed well. And the actors are trying, but there's just not much for them to work with, to be honest. There were a few moments that I actually enjoyed Dakota Johnson's performance, and then there were some moments where I could tell that even she was like, what is happening? Why am I in this movie? Why am I here? You know, the action sequences are basically, in my opinion, unwatchable. Like, I tried to watch them in the theater, and I couldn't keep track of what was going on. They're not smooth. There's barely any action that you actually get to see it happen. Everything is very shaky. The editing in this movie is horrendous. The cinematography, this is a period piece, by the way, in case you didn't know. It's set in 2003, okay? One, I don't think the people that made this movie remember what 2003 was completely like. There's like little elements that are like nostalgia-y to ground you, but maybe I was really bougie, but there's a point where they just allude to the fact that like having a cell phone in 2003 is like, oh, you're rich.
I would say that in 2000.
Would you? I feel like I had a cell phone in 2003, didn't you?
No, I was 10.
Oh, well, you were 10. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a cell phone in 2003. Was I rich?
Yeah,
We'll have to look it up after, but yeah, let me know. Did you have a cell phone in 2003? Am I misremembering? Maybe I'm misremembering. I'm not gonna hold that against them. It's a tiny thing, anyways. But the cinematography definitely felt like it was from 2003 at moments, and not in a good 2003 way. There's a lot of zooms happening in here. Did you notice all those zooms? I guess that could be editing though. That could be post. But yeah, and there were a lot of shots that were like this. There was one shot of Ezekiel, and we went into his shirt or something, and I was like, what is happening with this? Also, Ezekiel Sims, what a choice for a villain. I like that they at least let him have his feet out, like in the comics. But Ezekiel Sims had a major problem in this movie, and that was almost all of his lines, especially at the beginning, felt like they were ADR, but not good ADR. I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but I'll be looking into that and I'll report in the full review. Overall, this movie is just the messiest mess I've ever seen. There's no post-credits, and I think we all know why. I think it's because Sony was aware. This is a film that Coke didn't want to sponsor, so they had to get that Pepsi sponsorship. But also, Pepsi, if you're watching this, I think you're great if you ever want to sponsor me. No, but it was very shameless product placement, but Pepsi was the only thing I noticed.
Oh, I noticed Mountain Dew.
Oh, Mountain Dew. Oh, okay. All right, well, they got two then. Pepsi and Mountain Dew. Yeah, I would say for this movie, I have to give it like 0 future visions out of 10, because none of the future visions were very satisfying to me. Even though it's such a cool concept. What a waste of a cool concept. 0 glasses and wheelchair appearance out of 10.
0 eyesight.
Can I
out
say
of 10.
0 eyesight out of 10? 0 eyes out of 10 eyes. Yeah, it was not good. I would give it a negative if I could, but that feels cruel considering there are a lot of people I'm sure that did work hard on this, even though I'm sure they were all rolling their eyes.
Someone who worked in the film industry for a few years, I know just how much work goes into everything.
A lot of work goes into it.
A lot of work goes into this. And I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Watching this movie.
I'm sure they were too, the people that worked on this movie. I feel bad for them. How was this greenlit? Ugh. I'm tired from watching it, so please don't watch it. It will suck the life force out of you. I wish there were inheritors in this, because then the feeling I'm feeling now, it would feel really relevant. What do you give it out of 10?
Nothing.
Nothing, 0. So we both say 0. So yeah, don't watch it. Just don't. Don't even wait to stream it or anything. Just don't watch it, please. It's insulting.
It's not even fun bad.
It's not. It's just painful. It'll just hurt you. All right, that's it for this one, friends. Until next time, stay nerdy. And be sure to check out the full review when it drops. I want to go into some behind the scenes stuff and find out about why and answer questions that I have in my soul. All right, bye.